Hello, welcome to my second question of the day. This is a challenge that I'm running for parents of students that are taking their GCSE exams this summer. And this question is taken from a foundation paper. It's an Edexcel May 23 paper, no calculator. So I'm going to go through this question. If you just discovered it, please press pause if you want to have a go at the question before I run through how I would answer it. Okay. So I'm going to go to the first part of the question here. It says last week 73% of the tickets sold at a cinema were adult tickets. Part A says what percentage of the tickets sold were not adult tickets. So I know that 100% of the tickets were sold, and if I subtract 73% of those, that's going to give me the percentage that are not adult. Now, if you're not good at subtraction, one way you could do it is to make a little number line, have 73 here, have 100 at the end, and if you wanted to, you could count up from 73, and I know that if I add 7 to 73, I get to 80, and then if I add 20 more, I get to 100, so I know that 27 is the answer to that question. I think 27% were not adult tickets. That's a 1 mark question there, just for that answer. Some people watched a film at the cinema and the number of adults to the number of children was 2 to 5. What fraction of the people were adults? So I guess in this part of the question, we've got to understand what a ratio means. Now, if you're not very good with ratios, I think there's a really nice, easy little visual that we could use that shows that for every 2 adults, there are 5 children. I like to kind of draw little circles. Sometimes I call these money bags if I'm working with a question that's on money. Now I need to find out what fraction of these people were adults. Now I can see that there were 2 parts adults out of 7 altogether. So I think there were 2 out of 7, 2/7 were adults. 2 out of the 7 were adults. Because there's 5 parts there are 7 parts altogether in my ratio. Whoops. 7 parts in total. So actually 2/7 were adults. And that's just 1 mark there. Now I'm going to go to the next part of the question, which is a little bit longer. I need to read the instructions really carefully. So on Friday, 500 people watched this film at the cinema, and 70% of these people were children. And on Saturday, 720 people watched a film at the cinema, and 5/8 of these people were children. Kasim thinks more children watched the film on Friday than on Saturday. Is Kasim correct? Now, one thing that students sometimes do in exams are they just tend to agree or disagree, and they might not show how they got the answer, and that wouldn't earn any marks at all. So we can only get a mark for this question. We can only get marks for this question if we answer with our evidence there. So let's look at Friday first. Now, Friday is all about finding out what is 70% of 500. And that's going to give us the percentage, or the number actually, of children who watch that film. Now, I always suggest that a good starting fact is what we need when we're dealing with percentages. So I know that 100% was everybody who watched that film. If you like making numbers bigger, you can do that. So I know that 1,000 people were 200%. I quite like building up percentages in this way. Not everyone does this. Whoops, I'm going to say actually, I'm going to just double that. I think that doubling is a really, really nice little quick way of getting to answers. If I double again, this is my preferred method. There are others. I just quite like having fun with percentages. If I double, I get 2,000. And if I add all of those together, I get 4, 5, 6, 700% is 3,500. And my last step is going to be just to divide it by 10. You don't have to do it this way at all. I'm just showing you that you can if you want to. But however you do it, you should get to 350 people on Saturday. Now that's Friday, actually. What am I talking about? That is Friday. 350 were children. Now, on Saturday, 720 watched the film and 5/8 were children. So what we really want to do on Saturday is to find out what is 5/8 of 720. Okay, so my little visual for this would be to draw all of those 720 people as a little bar model. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try and cut it up into 8 pieces. So every single one of those little pieces would be 1/8. Now, I'd quite like to know what is in every single one of those little parts. I want to find out what 1/8 is first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 720 divided by 8. I know that 72 divided by 8 is 9, so I think that's going to be 90. So I know that for every little block, for every 1/8 in that little bar model is going to be 90. If you're like me, a visual approach I find is just really, really helpful. Now I've got to find out what 5/8 is. So if I shade in 5 of those, I know that that's going to be my 5/8. Now I happen to know that 90 times 5 is going to be whatever 9 times 5 is, and then multiplied by 10. So I think that's going to be 450. So I know that that is 450 children on Saturday. So if I go back to the question and it says, is Kasim correct? Kasim thinks more children watch the film on a Friday than a Saturday. I don't think Kasim is correct. I think that there were more children on a Saturday actually. So I need to answer my question. So I'm going to say no. Ooh, what happened there? I'm going to say no. Kasim was not correct. Or was incorrect. More children watch the film on Saturday. And there we go, I've answered the question. Now I hope you found that helpful. I'm actually running a revision day on Saturday the 19th of April. It's going to be online between 10 and 4 p.m. If you're interested, hop on over to my Facebook page and you'll find more details about it there. Thanks ever so much for viewing. Goodbye.